So there we go. We're being recorded, so welcome to this much awaited topic. I know that you've all been anxiously waiting to hear more details on how your production bonus works, and so I have to thank you for your patience. I think as much as you're going through one steep learning curve, so am I, and trying to manage all the work, and this is something that I would have liked to have gotten out to you sooner, but it's here, and so we're ready to get you a lot more clear on what your production bonus is all about and how it works. There will be time throughout for some questions. I will share some polls to give me a sense of where you're at in terms of your confidence and understanding. And again, this will be posted tomorrow morning on the Launch and Beyond site. The recording will be, as well as the production bonus documents, so you can have more opportunity to dig in and read through it. So let's get started. I'm going to share my desktop and launch my presentation. So can someone let me know that you can see my desktop, just to confirm?
Not yet.
You do see it or don't?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Okay, I see it does say it's connecting. Thank you. I'll watch. There we go. Can you see it now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yep. Perfect. All right, let's get started. I'm going to launch this into slideshow mode. And with this, I can't see if you're OCSing me stuff.
Michelle, some of us can't see the screen.
Still?
No.
Well,
A lot of us can't see it.
No.
Oh, here we go. Now it's on.
Okay, I think it just depends on the speed of the network. So I'm thinking we can probably all see it now. If you can't see it, it might be a setting on your end. But yeah, so let's get started. So understanding your production bonus, like I say, a much awaited topic. And so I just put on the cover slide here, basically your production bonus is all about delivering quality advice, reaching more Albertans, and growing the assets of our shared practice. And that's really the focus of what we want to do as we move forward in our new practice. So some of these slides you'll be familiar with. I am going to go through a quick overview of what I shared at the conference back in September. So just very briefly, because I know this piece you're all very familiar with, there are two components to your bonus. One is the individual component, the other is the team component. So individual is 5% of your bonus, team is 10% to achieve a 15% overall bonus. Your individual is about that delivering the quality advice and the reaching more Albertans. Okay, so I'll share with you what that means in a bit. And then the team component is about us growing the assets together. Okay, so that, if we achieve those elements, would mean you'll get bonus. But what we did hear from the team was, we want to make sure that when someone is participating in the team component, they delivered on the individual side. Okay, we don't want anyone who's not delivering on the individual side to be participating on the team side. So we heard that loud and clear. So in order to participate in the team component of the bonus, you must achieve 100% of your individual targets. Okay, and I'll again give more details of what those targets are and what it looks like. So,
Michelle?
Yeah.
Sorry. Half of your screen is cut off. I don't know if that's like that for everybody.
Can someone else confirm that's the case?
I can see all this. I can see the entire slide.
Too, I can see it. It's probably loading on your computer.
Okay, probably my power keeps going off and on, so that might be it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, no worries, sorry.
That's all right. Thank you. So yeah, you have to achieve individual component to get team. Okay, so what does that mean? The individual component, again, this is a slide I shared at the conference. So on the quality of advice, when surveys are attributed to you, you will need to achieve a greater than 3.7 out of 5 rating on the score. 3.7 out of 5, just to help you, is a 74% satisfaction rating. So as your leaders, we discussed it, and we said, gosh, if someone's is not delivering at a 74% satisfaction rating or greater, that's just not at an expectations level that would qualify for bonus. So in order to qualify, you need 3.7. We also talked about at the conference that the reaching more Albertans is about how you are available to Albertans. And we had set 600 contacts as a target. When we talked about it was for Q3 and Q4 period. That'll give you your 5%. You also need, or you also have an opportunity, if you exceed these, to go up to 7.5% max on your individual side. Now, we did hear from many of you, and Sunita and Melanie keep me in the loop, which is good, that there was some concern that, gosh, you're not sure that the phones are busy or the bold chats are busy, and you're really concerned about those number of interactions. So we talked about that, and actually I'm jumping the gun. We did reduce that target, and I'll share that with you in a minute, but the 3.7 score, some of you are confused as to why you're putting the word advice in your call log. Now, the advice component, as you'll see, is on the left side. It's about the survey. It's about the delivering the quality advice. We need you to put advice in your call log so that we can link that survey that customer completed to you, okay? Because otherwise there's no way for us to link it to you. So many of you are asking, well, how do I know when I put advice in my call log? I would say if you had an advice-based conversation where you want that customer, when they're completing their survey, to be referring to the experience they had with you because it was advice-based, then yeah, absolutely you need to put advice in your call log. If it's a simple point to the site and you're not providing advice, then I would say no, you don't want to put advice in your call log. If we have surveys that there is no call log for that particular client, that's okay. That score then gets attributed to the overall segment, and that client is basically sharing with us what their experience was online. And that's important too, because we want to know, those who did not interact with us, what's their experience when they're going online, and are there ways that we can improve the site to give them a better experience. So again, your advice log is all about attaching a survey to your name, and I'll share more detail about that a little further. The reaching more Albertans, it's about how you are available to our customers. So are you responding to bold chats? Are you responding to incoming calls? So we are counting. We can see how many bold chats you've responded to. We can see how many phone calls you picked up in auto-in. So if someone's calling directly to your extension, we don't count those because we're assuming they're returning a call, or maybe it's a call from someone at home. And so it really is about responsively answering when the phone is ringing to the general queue. So we did reduce that target, and we reduced it to 480. So now, hopefully that appeases the mind. You've got fewer contacts that you need to be made available for during these final 2 quarters. And we've also reduced the time period. So originally we had said the goals would start November 1st. We pushed that out to being November 15th to align more with when the online advice tool was launched. So that is where the individual component sits today. Okay, and we'll get into details and examples of how you can achieve that. And in fact, I have some samples of the levels of achievement so far as well with regards to reaching more Albertans. So the reaching more Albertans, again, to be clear, it's about the number of live chats you respond to and the phone calls coming in, and it does not matter what the content of the conversation is. So your call logs don't come into play when we're counting the number of interactions that you have with us. The goal for the remainder of the fiscal year, again, is 480, and when we do the math, that means about 4 to 5 contacts per working day. And so we know you have 5 working days per week generally, or however you've structured yourself, but generally, let's say in a 7-hour period, you would want to have 4 to 5 contacts So I would say reach for 5. In fact, reach for 6, because there might be days where you might only get 3 or 2, but it'll help you get to your goal for the end of the year. Delivering quality advice, again, just to be more concise, a call log with advice allows for the online survey completed by the client to be linked to that goal planning advisor for rating purposes. So I've kind of got that little equation that says a client survey and an advice log equals a rating for the goal planning advisor. If there's a client survey but no advice log, that's okay. That's important information as well. That's a rating for the entire team and a rating for basically online advice experience. All right. So I'm just going to exit here and have an opportunity to do a poll, but also maybe check to see what about maintenance logs? Why don't they get a survey? Well, Christy, that's a good question, and maybe, I'm glad that you're logging your questions here, because I can then go back to them if I don't have an answer for you today. Maintenance logs, essentially, we are wanting to evaluate the advice experience, okay? So while, with maintenance, Christy, there's a lot of opportunities to give advice, right? A client calls in, wants to change their address. Did you have a conversation with them to say, hey, usually a change of address might need a change in job or a change in, have you considered the impact to your retirement plan? And so if you get into that conversation, you change it to advice, right? It's now you've moved it beyond maintenance. And that's why we say anytime you have an interaction with a client, let's try to move it beyond maintenance. Let's check with them and say, hey, have you tried our experience? Have you, do you know if you're on track to reaching your goals? And try to align some advice component into it. And that's where you will get an opportunity to put advice and have a survey linked to you. Boy, there's a whole bunch of questions coming in here. Let me scroll up and see. Okay, these are all about, all right. So let's take a look here. What about proactive outbound calls? Do they count towards our advice calls? I would say yes. If you called David, a client, in a proactive call and you did some advice for them and then they went into the experience and responded through a survey, for sure I would say that you impacted their experience. Their advice experience. So if you're doing outbound calls, it turns into advice, absolutely. Put that in your advice call log, and if they do respond in a survey, we will link it to you. Okay? Does our performance rating 3.7 also include other things like no, the 3.7 rating, Lucinda, is purely survey based. So the survey has, I think it's 4 questions. They're each on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay, so whatever they respond to is a 1 to 5 rating. You want to achieve 3.7 out of 5 in order to meet your goal. David, in terms of will your advice logs count towards your 450 goal? I think it was 480 we set the goal at. Outbound calls, no, because what we want, they're important. They're important for you to give opportunities to create a better experience for clients. They're also important to grow our assets, right? So that's a big part of our goal. But really what the production bonus item was designed is to make sure that we are all available to our customers and responding to their incoming needs. So your outbound calls, very, very important. They will play a factor in your individual performance planner. And I think they will also hugely impact our opportunity to grow assets as a team. But they're not counted towards the number of interactions we're having. And I'll show you in a moment how many interactions each of you had through the October 1st to November 15th period, just to give you an idea, is our number within reach or not? Do FA referrals count for anything? FA referrals count for your individual performance planner. Absolutely. So, it's not part of production bonus. FA referrals were a part of production bonus in the past. That's one of the bigger changes in this production bonus. We're not counting FA referrals, but still very important. Important that you use the Outlook form to send referrals to your FAs, and that gets counted, and we can see who sent those referrals. It get counted towards your performance planner, which is perhaps something that I can attach into SharePoint again so you can all see it again, but I believe that's, you've had that conversation with Melanie and Sunitha already. Yeah, Sunitha has a comment. I mean, if you're making outbound calls, it could create an increase in inbound calls, right? If you're putting in outbound calls, you're leaving voicemails. When they respond to the team, it's best that you say, please call our team, because if they're calling directly to your extension number, we're not counting those inbound calls, because we really want to promote that when we are reaching out to clients, they can reach back to any of us on our team. We really want to design that confidence that any of us can serve their needs. So outbound calls are important. And there you go, Christy. I hope that answers your question. Clients want to deal with the same people often. Well, let's put it this way. If they called in an outbound or inbound, you've served them. They call back in on an inbound on the same question. I mean, you've already gotten a point, I guess, for having an interaction with that client. And that's really just a continuation of that conversation, right? Just maybe on a following day. So affects our base salary, not performance bonus. Well, I mean, base salary, I don't know, but certainly your performance planner and whether or not you are performing at expectations, right, in terms of how you contribute to the business. So yeah, listen, FA referrals are an individual performance planner matter. They're not a production bonus matter. So yeah, trades are not necessarily advice, Christy. That's admin, right? So if a client calls once a month to do a trade, first of all, you're not promoting the team, number one. Number two, it's a trade. It's not advice. And, yes, we do want to be available to our customers, and so we're wanting the production bonus purposefully designed to create those behaviors that have us sending clients back to the team. Okay. Okay, this is a business GAPs, and we are focused on the decision. Well, listen, if we want to have that conversation, because I need to stay, there's a lot yet to share. That's maybe something you can have a chat with Sunitha about, but your leaders did make the decision that, we would not include FA referrals inside the production bonus piece. It's still very, very important, but we need to focus on different activities, right? The role has changed significantly, and so there are some activities that we valued at a higher level in terms of designing it for the production bonus purpose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a poll, if I can remember how to do that, before we move on to the next piece. So the first poll is, I now have a clearer understanding about how my individual bonus targets are tracked. And I think we have about 11 of you or 12 of you. Let me just count so I can make sure that I'm getting all the responses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. I have 9 responses. Now perhaps the other 3 have gone off to pick up some calls. 10. Perfect. All right. I'm going to close the poll at 10, just in the interest of time. And I'm going to share the results. So I hope you can all see this. Basically, at least now we've got, 9 of you or 82% of you saying you're somewhat clear, 2 of you saying very clear. And, I think I do have a document to share with you as well, and that I hope will be very, very clear for you. But continue to have the conversations with your leaders and, send your questions to me for sure. You know, Tracy, what would count as advice and what would not count as advice? So I'm just going back to Tracy's question. Essentially, again, remember, when you put advice in your call log, we're not counting those for the number of interactions you have. We're only using those to link them to the survey that the client responds to. So client responds to survey. If we see Tracy gave an advice log to that, we would attribute the survey to Tracy. So it's important that when you have conversations with the client, if there's any advice component whatsoever, attach advice to it. But if you're just saying, hey, try out our new tool, and there isn't any conversation about, you know, talking about the importance of dollar cost averaging or the importance of understanding their plan before they make decisions to withdraw or things like that, then, you know, it's not advice-based, it's pure maintenance-based. And so I wouldn't put the term advice in there because, you know, that survey is still important, but it will give us a survey result more about their experience online, okay? Yeah, advice is any advice that helps clients achieve their goals, okay? But if we have 3.7, we need those surveys. Well, yes, you do need those surveys. So I'm hoping you're having advice conversations, Tracy. If you're only saying, hey, go try out our tool and you hang up, you know, we need you to have advice conversations. So I'm sure you've got plenty of opportunities to put the word advice in your call log, okay? So what I'll do is I'll let you, if you want to keep putting your comments on the left-hand side, I do want to move into the next piece of our production bonus, which is the team component. All right, so the team component is 10% of the production bonus. And at the conference, we had indicated that for the final 2 quarters of the year, we would be looking to have net asset growth of 40 million. Okay, you can, if as a team, achieve more than the target, you can achieve up to 20% target. Again, we heard many of you concerned about your targets, and so we discussed it as leaders, and we have actually reduced this to 3.5 million. Okay, so quite a significant reduction. And again, remember that is also in the context of a shortened time period, but a time period that's more busy for you. So this is the November 15th to March 31st target for team component. Okay. So in terms of achieving, let me see if I can switch. I know I'm hearing, so Melanie's answering. Okay, so we'll let Melanie address that one. So this is the summary in one quick page, and this little graph is part of the production bonus document that's available to you, so or will be available to you. So our objectives again are reaching more Albertans and delivering quality advice. That's your individual component. The measure again is 480 from November 15th to March 30th. And you're delivering quality advice as you want to get.
Yep. I can't see your screen. There's a lot of us that can't see your screen.
You're still in the poll.
Thank you.
Sorry to cut you off.
Share my desktop. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. How does that work now?
It's coming. It's just really small.
It's a little hard to switch back and forth between tools.
Like is it small with anyone else or is it just, oh, here we go. Yeah, so now I can see bonus team component.
Perfect. Okay. So you can see we've reduced it to 30.5. And then the summary. Right, showing 30.5 in net asset under management and 3.7 score or higher for the delivery of quality advice and 480 for your total responsive interactions with clients. I know I've kind of moved to poll 2, but let's see. Got it. All right again. So Yeah, so that is net asset growth, Christy. 30.5 is assets in, assets out. What's net? We need 30.5 net, okay? So let me share my next poll, and then we'll get into some concrete details, okay? So my next poll is now based on this information, and from the questions, I'm not sure what the responses will be, but you are now more confident that earning bonus is achievable. There's 4 responses so far. Our net asset growth for Q3, Q4 last year, Elton, was 54 million, or I don't know if that was the goal. What we achieved was 54 million. Okay, so we're setting the target at 30.5. The target achieved last year, or what we achieved last year, was 54. And I'll show that in another document in a moment. Yes, I can, David. That's coming up. So it's interesting now. We've got 11 responses. Not very confident, somewhat confident, and then one person, I'll close the poll and share. One person is confident. So I hope in the next piece that I will be able to elevate your confidence as I show some of the results we've had so far. All right. Do PACs count still too? Yes, Christy. I mean, what we did with PACs before is we wanted to attribute the PACs to you as an individual, and that's why we were counting them the way that we did. But PACs factor into asset growth, right? It's very, very simple now. We can see as a channel how many assets have we taken in, how many assets have left, what do we have left net. That includes monthly contributions, it includes systematic withdrawal plans, right? So it's all there. Yeah, and Lucinda says, you know, we used to be able to have an AUM boost on our FA referrals. We don't have an AUM boost now either, but we factored that in, right? As I mentioned to Elton, we achieved 54 million in asset growth last year in that same time period. We're establishing your target at 30.5, and we've taken account for that, right? As your leaders, we want to make sure that the goals we're setting are within your reach. Otherwise, we wouldn't have very happy advisors. Unhappy advisors don't produce well, and it just cycles, right? So we're not interested in establishing goals that are not within your reach. So let me share the next piece. And maybe before I move on, can everybody see my PowerPoint presentation?
It's good, Michelle.
Perfect. Thank you, Melanie. So in aggregate, your bonus, the production bonus remains at 15%. The maximum bonus is unchanged at 27%. So the little tricky, and some questions are asking, is the individual goal. You can achieve up to 7.5% on your individual goal. The team goal, you can achieve up to 20. While the two add up to 27.5, we still cap at 27, okay? So, but as an individual, though, you can, you know, maximize your earnings. The key here is, for an individual goal, whoops, I clicked on the screen. For an individual goal, in order to receive the individual bonus, you as a goal planning advisor must achieve a score of 3.7 or greater on the client survey score and a 75% of quantity target. So you need to achieve that in order to participate in your individual goal. In the team goal, in order to participate, you have to achieve 100% of both measures of your individual goal in order to participate in the team goal. Okay? So I have some examples. The first one is where it's an example where it shows that the person is participating in the team component. So on the individual goal, they received a quality rating of 4.25, which equals to 115% of that 3.75 required, right? So they get 115% of 2.5. So because there are two goals, each goal is counting towards 2.5 of your bonus, okay? So that equals to a 2.875% bonus on that particular goal. On the quantity goal, if that goal planning advisor did 120% of their targets, so let's say it's 120 contacts that you need in the quarter times 120%, so you've done 144 contacts, then that's 120% of achievement times 2.5, that equals a 3% bonus. So the total individual bonus here is the 2.85 plus the 3, which equals 5.875 of your base salary. Because you achieved 100% or more on both of the individual goals, you participate in the team goal, which in this example, the team goal achieved 150% of the target asset growth. And so 150% times 10% equals 15%. So if you add the two together, that goal planning advisor will receive a 20.875% bonus. Okay, so that's example 1. Example 2, you can see there's a little red piece there. So this is an individual bonus where the individual did not qualify to participate in the team component, because they only achieved a 3.5% rating on their client surveys. So they only achieved 94.5%, so there's no bonus on that component. Okay. The individual goal, the quantity, they made their 144 contacts. They had 120% of the achievement, so they get 3% bonus. So that bonus, they participate, they get 3% on their quantity piece, but they don't get a goal. They don't get a bonus on the quality component, nor do they participate in the team component because they didn't meet the quality goal. Okay, I'm going to share one more example, and I'll come back to your questions. The third example is again no participation in team component. They achieved their quality component, so they got a 4.25% rating on their interactions with clients. So again, 115% or 2.875% bonus on that piece. But they achieved only 95% of the number of interactions that they were targeted to have. So, okay, they still get bonus, 2.375% bonus. So their total individual bonus is 5.25% between the two. So you'll see you did get more than 5%. However, you didn't achieve 100% of one of your goals. And because of that, you do not participate in the team component. It's critical that you meet both of your individual targets in order to participate in the team goal. Okay? So this person would receive a 5.25% bonus. So, so those are the examples. I'm just going to, well, double check if there are any questions. And I have a feeling I'm not going to have a huge amount of time to answer all the questions here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think I answered your question, Tracy. So in order to get the team goal, you have to get your personal goals first. There you go, Melanie answered that. Whoops, that's a long one. David, but if you receive 100% of the individual, but the team only reaches 70%, would you receive your individual and 70% of the team component? Well, David, good question. In the past, in order to participate in any production bonus, the minimum achievement level is 75, right? So the team must achieve 75% of bonus in order to start paying out a bonus, okay? Yeah, so no one would receive a bonus since the team did not meet their targets. Yeah, so it's important to continue pulling together as a team. The team needs to reach 0.75. And again, do remember, we are not interested in creating goals that are not achievable. Right now, we're doing our best guess, right? We are new at this. We don't know what the results might look like. We have history. We know what we were able to do in the past, but we're doing it very differently now. So is that if, as we move closer to the end of the year, we start going, wow, okay, it is looking like no one will receive bonus, David, we're not interested in that. In the past, we generally had, every quarter, people participating in the prepayment of a range between 10 to 15 people. We want to continue that trend. So we will reevaluate, and if we go, oh goodness, okay, we've set goals that are just absolutely not attainable, come February, early February, we will reevaluate and make sure that we put some revised goals in place to give you the confidence that you'll be able to get some bonus. Because that's just, I was going to say bad business, and maybe that's what it is. I mean, we're not interested in wiping everyone out of an opportunity to get a goal. So we'll review, okay, and make sure that that's achievable. Well, Christy, who made the decision? Your leaders made the decision. This is a very different business today, and it is about team. And so as an individual, you have a lot of influence and ability to manage your day-to-day so that you are achieving your individual component. So if you do that, you'll participate in the team component. So team is increasingly important, and that's why as we work with customers, we need to continue to influence that and to use the language we, not I. We do believe it's fair, and we do believe that it's structured in a way that all of you will have an opportunity to have a healthy bonus. So it's always very, very important to us to make sure that that occurs, okay? So, I don't know if I've answered your whole question, but I can't tell what time it is. Let's see here. My clock has disappeared. In the interest of time, I have 20 minutes. I've got a few more things, and then I'll circle back to the questions at the end, okay? Elton, if you don't mind typing your question, because what really would help is, we can maybe have verbal questions afterwards, but it gives a bank of those frequently asked questions so that we can create a frequently asked document. And I can't document questions and switch my screen and all of those things. So if you can type them, then it helps me create that FAQ afterwards as well. So thank you. All right, so let's see. I want to make sure that all of you, can someone tell me verbally you're seeing the slideshow again?
I can.
Yes.
Thank you, Sunitha. Okay, so this is how we've allocated the targets between the quarters, okay? So reaching more Albertans, your quality of advice will never change. We always expect, at a minimum, you'll achieve a 74% satisfaction rating, which is 3.7, in order to participate in bonus. Q3, we have shortened, right? So it's November 15th to December 31st. 120 contacts is what's required in that time period. And again, that's about 4 contacts a day. So not a huge ask. I think if you're available on the phones and responding to bull chats, you'll be there. Your growing assets for the team for November 15th to December 31st, your target is 4.5 million. Okay. And then lastly, Q4, 360 contacts, because we know that's always our busiest season, and 26 million. So a much heavier goal, January to March, but again, it aligns with where we were in the past 3 years. So where can you find your results? In the production bonus review report, which will be found on the IFS SharePoint site. So I've not posted it yet, but I will be tomorrow. But I'll share with you now what that document looks like. So you will always be able to go back to that document. It will be updated on a monthly basis so that you can see how you're tracking to success. So let me share with you what that document looks like. Where are we? Here we go. So there are 3 tabs to this document. The first one is reaching more Albertans. We have delivering of quality advice and growing the assets. The first one, I have included a column sample of the activity that occurred from October 1st to October 15th. So, these first few columns, that's just you and your data. This blue section is about the inbound calls. So you can see inbound calls. I counted them. I went back into Qfinity, or the supervisor reporting software, and those are the number of calls each of you answered in the auto-in queue, okay? Bold chats. Again, the Bold Chat software provides status reports on agents, or they call them agents. And so I have totaled these. Now, anyone with green, based on the target of 120 for November 15th to November 30th, those people, green or yellow, would participate in the individual bonus. If it's green, it means they've achieved more than 100% of the target. If it's yellow, they're at more than 75%, but less than 100%, okay? So it just goes to show that actually the distribution, the number of people who are engaging in the activities required to succeed in the role, it's an equal distribution to what we had in the past. Okay, so that's a sample. I'll have that posted tomorrow in terms of quality advice. I have not counted the November 15th to 30th yet. I haven't gotten to that, but I'll make sure to update that before the end of the week as well, because it's December 2nd, the data is available. For delivering quality advice, I don't have data yet. Our survey was only launched on November 22nd. We have so far received, I think, 22 survey responses. So, you know, that data is still a bit thin, and we'll have to continue to monitor that to see how we can attribute those ratings to you as individual advisors. So, but this is the document where I expect to load that information for you. Okay. I'm hearing a lot of beeping, so I'm going to go take a look at I knew this would create a lot of questions. So, what about Q3 prepayment? Absolutely, I want to cover that before we finish today. Yeah, October 15th to November 15th, or October 1st to November 15th doesn't count, Lucinda, but I wanted to give you an idea of what kind of activity is the team experiencing in a period where we weren't measuring and we weren't particularly busy either. You know, it was different than now that we're launched. So particularly on the bold chats, right? So just a sample to create some confidence. Oh, that must have been a lot of work. Not too much work. There you go. So I think hopefully that information creates a little bit of confidence, right? The last piece is the growing assets. So Elton, you were asking about this piece. So I've included that part at the top, which is the budget goal, okay? That's what finance is hoping to get from us. But what's really important, and I'm hoping that doesn't confuse things, and maybe you can give me some input on that, but this is actually here where we really care about, okay? So far this year, I have put in April the assets that we gathered, the assets that were removed, and then the net assets. So Christy, that includes the PAC data. It also includes systematic withdrawal plans and the removed, right? And you can see that in that month we were at 116% of our target, okay, according to the budget, okay? For May, June, okay, the data's all there. You can see in August we started dropping off in terms of how we were contributing according to budget, okay? But this is where we're more interested, is in these fields here. This is about your bonus. So how did we do in November? I think it was David who asked that one. We gathered, 5.2 million in assets. 3.5 were removed. The net assets gathered were $1.7 million, okay? So while that's not significant as according to the budget, where it is significant is the production bonus target for November was 1.5. You as a team achieved 1.7. So as a team, you are at 115% of your target for Q3. Yay! I hope you can all see me cheering and that, wow, as a team, we're meeting our target. Now, mind you, the target's not significant. That will be a little more challenging as we move in the following months, right? December, your team target's $3 million. today's December 2nd. I don't know where we're at, but I think that if we look at how we did in November, hopefully if we continue to pick up the momentum, more clients, we continue to be proactive in our calls, we should be able to achieve that. I'm quite confident, and if we don't achieve 100, we've got to achieve 75%, right? So we're in the participation, and we got a good head start, okay? So things are looking good. This data will continuously be updated for you. It's also available in Report Manager if you want to go more frequently, okay? I'm hearing all kinds of beeping. I gotta find you. Too many screens open here. There we go. Yay, Sunita! So does that mean a bonus in January? Well, let's see. Where am I at in my presentation? Prepayment. There you go, Christy. So how do you qualify for prepayment? Well, as an individual, you need to hit 100% of your target, okay? And as a team, you need to hit greater than or equal to 75% of target. So, David and Elton, those of you who are asking about the asset growth, when we talked as leaders, we said, okay, we do want people to achieve prepayment. You've got tons of control over your own individual results. Not as much control over the team results, but, you know, as a team, you need to pull together. So we thought, okay, how do we give prepayment? Because in the past, prepayment was always you had to achieve 100% of all 3 targets in order to receive a prepayment. So we thought, is there a hybrid? So the hybrid that we created is you must achieve 100%, but if the team achieves 75% or greater, we will pay a prepayment, but it will be prorated based on achievement, okay? So if the team achieved 78%, then we would say it's 0.78 of the $1,500 prepayment max that we've given in the past. So that means every advisor who achieved 100% of their individual target will receive a prepayment. In this case, it would be $1,170. So, you know, if the team achieves 100%, which as in the past, 100% was required to get prepayment, you know, you'll get $1,500 if the team achieves 100% or more of their team goal. So again, a bit of a measure that we put in place to ensure opportunity to everyone to achieve some piece of their bonus, okay, or prepayment. Again, I heard some beeping. Question. If people do not do the survey that is requested, yeah, how is the 3.7 calculated? Is that percentage only based on the number of surveys completed? So example, if only 5 people do a survey, 2 people give 2 and 3 people give 5, that's 4%. Yeah, it's a weighted calculation, Tracy. So, you know, we'll have to gauge that. I mean, right now we're not getting a lot of survey responses. So I think that's going to be something we're going to have to feel as we go along to see if we have enough data to even apply it. I'm crossing my fingers already. We're starting to see some good responses, and the responses that we have received are showing strong ratings. So that's really great as well. So, but yeah, something we'll have to watch out for, keep our eyes on. How are all of the surveys completed? Yes, of course, completed, right? You can't get a rating if they didn't respond to the survey. Whoops. You're welcome. I think I saw a question here. David, the target of 1.5 million is for November 15th, the end of the month. Is the result of one also from November 15th? I know it's the whole month, actually. Good question. Let me go back and take a look at that one, David. I want to make sure I'm not creating a bunch of excitement where it might not be due. Let me double check. I apologize on that one. All right, I think we've got... Okay, then there's a little bit of work to do in December then. But November was a period of, you know, trial and error. We're all on our training wheels, and I think that the more we get practiced at this, we're not on training wheels, we can get rid of them, we're on our two-wheeler, we're more confident, we're rolling. I mean, when I look at the results, whoops, I scrolled through a bunch here again, here we go. When I look at the results, there's no question, there was a significant drop-off, you know, on average, let's see, from April to August, on average, we were growing our assets by close to 5 million. And then, in September, we grew our assets by less than 400,000. Same thing at October, 400,000. So to me, November is a good news story. It's showing that, we've kind of reversed this and now we're going back up the hill where the training wheels, the anxiety, all that stuff from the summer is slowly moving behind us, right? And we're going to start seeing the numbers we were seeing in earlier months again. I'm confident of that, but again, David, we'll continue to watch that, and if it's trending as a team that we're not, then we'll have to really question. Maybe there's activities on the team that's not happening. I mean, after all, do we pay bonus if the business results aren't achieved? It's always a tricky question, right? But we do want to make sure that there are bonus opportunities for sure. We don't want to not have that. That just wouldn't be right. All right, let's move back to this piece. So I guess a bit of time for questions, and then I'll have a final poll. So maybe I'll unshare, stop sharing, and go back. Where did you guys disappear? There we go. Too much stuff. All right. Absolutely. Listen, we did expect that. If I didn't say it, I apologize. It's normal. Absolutely, we were expecting that the net asset growth would drop. In any business, when there's a period of transition, results pull back for a while. And so we're not surprised by it. We're not worried by it. We see that as a very natural and normal activity to occur. So when I say that November has started pulling back, it's like online is here. We're all, feeling like we're now in the role instead of that mystery. What is it that we're doing? And so it's, very, very natural, and we're not worried. And it's why we designed the targets the way that we did. We really, really believe, and while some of you might still have some anxiety, I hope that as you look at the numbers, look at the results and dig deeper into what your production is all about, you'll start gaining that confidence again that we're here. We're here to support you, and we're here to design a role that's the ideal role. It's a great role. It's a role that people want to be a part of, and the bonus is a big part of that. Good question. What time of day are we hitting our goals more? That's a very important question, Linda, and I think we have enough data now. I mean, we've been, is it November 13th? So just a little over 2 weeks. We're approaching 3 weeks, I guess. Thank you. It's time. It's time that I pull data to see what time of day are we getting online visits, bold chat requests, those kinds of things. So I'll endeavor to have that kind of information available out by the end of the week as well. So that might influence when you choose to work, right? Let's see, who else? Again, Christy, I'm going to stress it. Team, team, team. We're now a team. It's funny. I wished I remembered the quote. On the weekend, I watched the movie Coach Carter. Old movie. It's been out for more than a decade, I think. But it was huge. It impacted me and made me think of us. In that it was a basketball team in a school that was failing. A school that the year prior, they'd only won 4 games. Academically, 10% of them go on beyond high school, and this coach came in and instilled the concept of team. If there was a member late to practice, all of them had to do push-ups, and significant numbers of push-ups. Anyone disrespected each other, all the team did push-ups. So he was really about making sure that the team was watching out for each other. And he says, we can't be individuals on this team. The only way this team can succeed is if we work together. And that's why we've put the emphasis on team, and that's where the opportunities are. And again, Christy, you pay attention, like seriously, 4 to 5 calls a day. If I look at it, I think you're already doing that. So we haven't set the individual goals at such a point that they're not achievable, that we're preventing you from participating in the team component. And as a team, gosh, it's an important goal. We're growing assets. If we're not growing the assets, then we need to do something about it, because this business needs to see asset growth. So it's an important goal, and it's something that none of us individually have any real impact over anymore, right? We're not counting your individual sales, we're counting the asset growth, and that asset growth will be affected by the quality of advice we deliver and how many Albertans we reach. So it's important. We're a team, sir. Yes, Andrew's seen the movie. They called each other sir. If you haven't seen it, it's an awesome movie. I think it even made my grown man cry. So if you don't like crying, maybe don't watch it. But it's good. Let's have a beer, sir. Sure. If we meet our goals, I'm all into it. Let's do a final poll and then maybe circle back for questions. Gosh, okay, where is it? Here we go. So, this session was valuable to create better understanding of the bonus structure. Please, I want to know, because I'm leading another one of these on Friday. So I really hope that there's some value in there, and through your questions, thank you. Maybe help me be a little more proactive in the information I share with the next group as well. 9 of you have responded. Any other last minute responses? 10. Perfect. Wow. The group is unanimous. I closed the poll, and 11 of you indicate that this was valuable. So thank you. I'm glad it was valuable. Can it be more valuable? Perhaps. If any of you have any ideas as to how it can be improved for the next group, I'd absolutely be open to it. I hope that the documentation I put out, and I will post it, like I say, to the Launch and Beyond site by tomorrow morning, so that you can go and take a look at your new production bonus document, the Understanding Your Bonus. I will also send a copy to Sunitha and Melanie. So if any of you are super, super curious and just can't wait, I hope it's okay, Sunitha and Melanie, that I'm telling them that they just need to send you a quick email to request, and you can send it to them. Because I don't want to try and figure out who is in this session and send it off. So I will do that. But if you can hang in, it'll be there tomorrow morning. So get the info on time of day meters so you can adjust our work. Yes, Lucinda, I agree. In order for all of us to do the best that we can to support our customers, we want to be there when they're there, right? So if they're not there Monday to Friday, then, you know, how can we be there for them? So very valuable information, and information I do want to get into your hands. So when I don't have access to the information, our project team is still working on designing reporting that I can basically go in and pull on an as-needed basis. But right now I don't have access. I have to actually put in a request for it. So I'll put a request for that for sure. But hopefully in a few weeks I will be able to on demand get what I want. So and get you what you want. That's really what's most important. Yeah, there was a hot map sent. Though I don't think, Elton, was that hot map sent since the launch, or that was from pilot? I think that was from pilot. I'm not sure. I'll check. I don't recall seeing a hot, what do we call it again? Hot map since launch, but I'll make sure to get that data. It's 4 o'clock. I'm happy to stay a couple more minutes if any others have questions, but otherwise, we've occupied all of our time. Again, thank you. I'm glad to know it was valuable. I'm sure there are still some questions, so feel free to send them to me, or check in with either Melanie or Sunitha, and we'll make sure to answer them. But I just want to close by saying I honestly believe that each and every one of you have an opportunity to achieve bonus, and we've designed this to make sure of that. So just go out there, be a team, and I know we'll get the results that we're looking for. So Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm here for a few more minutes if anyone is looking for more answers. You're welcome, everyone.